Hello and welcome to Couchbase Coding with Matthew Groves. This is a 10-minute slice of my day as a developer advocate, live every day. Check out all the episodes on YouTube up there. Email or tweet your comments, questions, suggestions to me. I'm continuing my series on a sneak preview of the upcoming Couchbase Connect New York conference. It's going to be on May 9th and 10th, 2018. Jam-packed full of Couchbase technical stuff, sessions from our engineers, but also from our customers and our partners. That's going to be a really great event. So make sure to register for that today. And I'll give you a code at the end of the video where you can get a little discount on that event. All right, so one of the things that's going to be at Couchbase Connect New York is the Data Platform Workshop. I talked about this a little bit yesterday. And by the way, there was a bug yesterday that we found while playing with a full text search, and that actually has been fixed. It's going to be in a future build of Couchbase Server. So yay for beta testing, and yay for getting that handled. But today I'm going to switch over from full text search to something else in our data platform that we're offer in Couchbase 5.5, and that is eventing. This is a very cool new service that's being offered as part of Couchbase now. So if you look at my list of servers here on the screen, you can see eventing is one of the new services here. So this is a separate service from search and query and such, but it's a new part of Couchbase. So one of the things, the only thing really you can do with eventing right now is, I believe, is that you can create things called functions. So I want to show how functions work today. Just a really quick, really basic demo as well, just to fit it into a 10-minute stream like this. But let's just go to my buckets first. I want to give you a little bit of a background on my use case, so to speak, my little demo use case here. I've got let's say a ticketing system. I'm taking tickets for a sporting event or a concert or something, and people are showing up at the gate and they're scanning their tickets to get in. Now, some of those people using the tickets to get in are VIPs, and we want to give the VIPs special treatment. We want to give them a concierge, some extra service, someone to check on them, make sure they're comfortable, things like that. And so I have another bucket here called ticketing VIP. So my really simple use case is whenever a new document comes into ticketing, I want to see if that person is a VIP and put them into the ticketing VIP bucket instead. This isn't really a terribly practical use case for eventing, but it kind of gives you an idea of the basics, what you can do. And I'll talk more about some of the real applications for eventing as we go along. Okay, so in order to set that up, what I've got here is I've got a .NET application that I just whipped up in a few minutes to just connect to the cluster, connect to the ticketing bucket. It's going to loop through here, put in a ticket holder that's a VIP, and put in a ticket holder that's not a VIP, just a regular Joe. And it's going to insert those two, and it's going to keep looping as I want it to add those documents into the buckets. Okay, and I want to handle this in eventing first. So I'm going to click on the eventing button here, and then I'm going to say add a function. Now when you add a function, you have to set some things up here. You have to determine what's your source bucket. So what bucket am I going to be monitoring for changes that I want to trigger events on, or trigger these functions on. You have to specify a metadata bucket. This is where Couchbase is going to put some information to actually do the eventing and stuff. You don't usually have to mess with this bucket. You just create the bucket and define it here as a metadata bucket. A function name. So I'm going to say handle VIP or something like that, or like notify VIP. So this is going to check for ticket holders who are VIP and put them into the ticketing VIP bucket. All right, and then down here I can set a number of bindings. So this is where I can choose an alias, and I can select any number of my buckets to alias. I'm going to choose the VIP bucket. I'm going to alias this as VIP bucket. So that's what I'm going to call it in the actual function itself. So next we're going to actually start writing code. Now this is the shells of the JavaScript functions that will be executed on these events when they occur in Couchbase. So right now there's two different functions you can populate. One's called onUpdate. This will be called whenever you create a new document or whenever you make a change to a document. And onDelete will be called whenever you delete a document. Makes a lot of sense. I don't need this log thing in here right now, so I'm just going to do something really simple. I'm going to write some JavaScript here to say, okay, if the doc is VIP, and I think that's what I called it. If I go back over to my application, yep, is VIP. So if it's a VIP, then I want you to go to the VIP bucket and we're going to create a document there, and we're just going to put the doc right in there into the VIP bucket. So this is an alias for the bucket. This is the key of the document that's being added or changed. I'm going to create another document in a different bucket with the same key that contains this. I can also mutate that if I want to. I can say doc.foo equals bar, just to make whatever change I want to the document. So that's it. Really, really basic, practically useless function here, but it gets the idea of what you can actually do with eventing. You saw a message up here that says I need to actually deploy this. So right now it's undeployed. I'll click deploy, and we'll actually deploy this function so it'll actually now be in use and actually start monitoring this bucket for changes, for documents coming in, documents being changed, documents being deleted. Another thing I could show you, but I really can't do it today, is the debugging. I can actually step through this eventing code and debug it right here in the browser. Unfortunately, I'm running this beta build inside Docker, and the debugging uses different port numbers, so it's just not going to work since I've got it in Docker for my own convenience. So maybe on a future day I'll show you the debugging as we go through it. Okay, so now this is deployed and running. So if we go over to buckets here, you can see I've got ticketing and ticketing VIP. If I go to documents, you can see right now in ticketing there are no documents in there. So I'm going to go ahead and run my .NET application. This is going to create two tickets, one for Dorothy Johnson, who's a VIP, and one for Kenneth Peterson, who is just a regular Joe. If I go back over here to the view and just force a refresh, you'll see that those two documents show up in the ticketing bucket, just as I set them at Kenneth Peterson and Dorothy Johnson. Great. Now if I go over to ticketing VIP, you should see that there's only one document in here. It's Dorothy Johnson, who's our VIP, who's been moved over by the event, copied over to this bucket. And I've also mutated the document to have this foo bar field on there. So I'm able to perform some logic to do something with a document as it's changed or deleted, and I can do all kinds of stuff with that. So in my example here, I'm going to undeploy it because I'm going to edit it again. But in my example, this is pretty basic. I'm just putting in another bucket. That's not terribly useful. Maybe I could be useful in some situations, but what might be more interesting is if, let's just comment this out. And I'm not going to actually do this because it'll take more time than I have left in the stream to do. But let's say our VIP gets their ticket scan, and they're now in our venue. They're now trying to find their way to their seat. So we want to notify a concierge for the VIP, and we have maybe a dozen concierges on staff. Each of them are assigned to a number of VIPs or what have you, right? So first I might want to run a query to find the correct concierge for this VIP. And the way I could do that is I can actually create a nickel query here in the event to query my concierge collection and find whichever concierge is assigned to this particular VIP. And I could look them up by name or by ID number or whatever. And I don't know the exact syntax for this, but it's something along the lines of, I think it's actually inline nickel, but I could select star from, concierge bucket or whatever. Again, this is not exactly, I'm not going to run this, so this is kind of just pseudocode right now, but that's what I could do. So I could find the concierge, then I could say, okay, notify the concierge by text message. And so I could do this with Twilio or some other third-party service. And the way I do that in an event like this is I could use the, and I don't know why it's coming up here, probably because of my poor syntax, but curl should be coming up in the code complete, and it's not. But there's a curl function here I could call right here in JavaScript to actually hit a URL with some sort of body, etc. And so that would be a way I could use a third-party service to send a text message to the concierge. I have the concierge's phone number. I just queried the concierge for this VIP. So once they've checked into a venue, now I can notify the concierge automatically via text message, and away we go. They can go check on the VIP and say, how's your seat? Can I take a drink order, etc., etc. So I'm not actually going to write that code because we're at time right now. But that's one way that the eventing and the functions available in Couchbase 5.5 is very powerful. It allows you to do some stuff at the Couchbase cluster level. You don't have to do that in your application anymore. Actually pulling your data, it just does it right there in Couchbase as an event. Okay, so let's go back to my Connect promo. It's coming up May 9th through 10th in New York City. Lots of technical content, including a workshop that's going to touch on eventing and functions, going to a much deeper dive than I did today on that. Go register for that at the URL at the bottom of your screen there, and use the code DEVADVOCACYCC18, also at the bottom of your screen, for free admission to the main conference. All right, so I've got to go catch a plane now, but thank you guys very much for watching.